Richie Rich.
Well, Richie, dear, liver is rich in protein. It's very good for you.
It's so tasty, too.
He has his own baseball coach,
I said, Richie.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
a theme park,
Man, it must be cool to have everything.
and even a personal trainer.
Well, if you haven't guessed it, oh yeah, this is Chip Roach. And if you haven't noticed, I am doing the movie Richie Rich, starring Macaulay Culkin. And I will review it right after this.
name is Mr. Bubble, let me show you tons of fun.
You can be a bubble.
With Mr. Bubble,
You can have to level two.
with Mr. Bubble,
Or be a bubblehead.
with Mr. Bubble. I'm safe and gentle and I make getting clean almost as much fun as getting dirty. Have a ton of fun with Mr. Bubble.
Well, folks, that was Mr. Bubbles. So let's thank Mr. Bubbles for that wonderful message. And I hope everybody is safe from Hurricane, what was it, Helena?
Helene or something like that.
We'll go with Helena.
There's no A in it.
Are you sure?
There's no A at the end of it. It's an E at the end.
So was it? Sorry, Hurricane Helene. I'm sorry. This one, for some reason, just caught me off guard. It didn't hit us much, but for those people on the Panhandle, I hope most people are safe.
And the Bend, and Georgia, and Tennessee, and the Carolinas, and everything else affected.
So I hope everybody is staying safe. Hopefully I can deliver some kind of laugh during these tough times of ridiculous weather nonsense. Blame it on the weather people. That's what I do. Well, I do. They tell you it's going to go one way, and it goes another.
Actually, they didn't. They
Well,
had it right this time.
Well, they said Category 1, and then it became a Category...
No, they said 3, and it was a 4.
Oh, okay. Well, they were still wrong.
Yeah, they wasn't supposed to get stronger than what it was.
Okay, all right. Well, let's stick to this Macaulay Culkin movie, just for some entertainment purposes. Hopefully people still have cell service, so hopefully my channel can bring somewhat of a smile. I'll try. I'll do my best.
Don't count on it.
Oh, that wasn't very nice. Oh, see, we're off to a good start. So this is the 1994 movie Richie Rich, starring Macaulay Culkin, John Larroquette, Edward Herrmann, Christine Ebersol, and Jonathan Hyde.
Who's the butler?
That's Jonathan Hyde.
Okay.
He plays Canterbury. Cadbury. I just insulted him by calling him Canterbury. And then there's also Chelsea Ross, who plays Mr. Ferguson. Macaulay Culkin, we all know him from the Home Alone movies, well, the first two. He was in The Pagemaster, The Good Son, The Nutcracker, Getting Even with Dad, Uncle Buck, and Edward Herrmann. He was in one of the Munster movies in 1995. He was in Nixon. Christine Ebersol was in Black Sheep. She was the governor, the real nasty one. She was in The Wolf on Wall Street, which I call Wall Street for Kids. Chelsea Ross, Mr. Ferguson. We knew him from Rudy. He was Coach Dan Devine. He was in Major League. He was in Trouble with the Curve. No. And Jonathan Hyde, which we all know from a couple of my movies. He was in Titanic, and he was in Jumanji. Yes, and yes. You know who he is. He was the dad in Jumanji, and he was the bad guy. I wouldn't say bad guy, but he was one of the guys responsible for telling the captain to keep going at a...
So he was responsible.
He was partially responsible, yes. He just wanted a headline. But Jonathan Hyde is an actor that I have watched over the last couple of reviews that I've actually liked. And a spoiler alert for this movie, he doesn't disappoint. He was probably my favorite character in this.
Who is he in this?
The butler.
Oh, I like the butler.
And then Michael McShane is the chemist in this movie. He was in We know him from Tom and Huck,
Nope.
Brotherly Love, and he was the hypnotherapist in Office Space, which I did review. So Michael McShane apparently was not in the show Jesse, which we thought. So this movie here, Macaulay Culkin, Richie Rich, this was based off of a comic book. This movie did come out in 1994. So this movie was sort of button heads with the Little Rascals, the Little Giants. Okay, so we have Little in a couple titles already. Let's see, Forrest Gump. The Flintstones. Shawshank Redemption came out. The Lion King was a huge movie. I can't deny that. Pulp Fiction, I have to throw that in there. True Lies, believe it or not, was... Did you say that was the third movie? That was the third movie. I mean, it was a good action movie, but I didn't think it would be that high. And then also the Santa Claus. And I have to mention Shawshank Redemption being popular after it came out in theaters. It was not a big theater hit.
We learned about that in school. We actually seen that at school.
Yeah, I
in high
did
school.
not. I bought it when I was in school, but that was pretty much it. I got it at a bargain deal. I got it for $5. And it was a really good movie. And The Shadow also came out, a highly recommended movie that I really liked and got only 7 views on. So if this does happen to reach more than 10, I would like it if some of my nice viewers would check that video out so you can check out The Shadow as a movie to check out, because I thought it was really good, and hopefully that piques an interest to check out that video. So,
Are we trying to redo The Shadow here or what?
no, I'm not. I would just like to get some traffic to that video. Anyway, so moving on to Richie Rich
You
here.
hear this, Vasco? He's promoting his other videos.
Yes, I'm trying to. The ones that I would just to check out the movie. I don't care if you don't like the video, but check out the movie. I thought it was one of those underrated ones. So, Richie Rich, where is this going to fall into this? Does it work well with the other big budget movies? I will put my opinion in at the end of this video. So Macaulay Culkin in this is the richest kid in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds really cool. He does have everything. He meets famous people. But for a 13-year-old kid, is this really a good life for him? I guess that could also be based on opinion. But some of the other kids he hangs out with are more on the lame side. He's more of having fun, having a good time. Unfortunately, being 13, they're kind of throwing him into this high responsibility type of role. He wants to have fun. They want him to do a press conference or balance the budget or talk to some boring businessman. And John Larroquette, of course, is the villain in this movie, and I have to disagree.
Douche.
Well, there we go. So, now how did you think he played the villain? I have to ask.
He's a douche.
Okay, so
So I guess he did pretty well.
So he did pretty well. Our two one of the dorks, the dorky critics said that he did a horrible job as a villain. I actually did not mind him. I thought he played a good villain. His dad is played by, of course, I said Edward Herrmann. He actually plays a pretty good part in this, and so does Christine Ebersol. So they're not really around a whole lot. I guess being a rich parent.
His dad's not around
His
a whole
dad
lot.
is not around a lot. His mom is, but the butler, Cadbury, is really the guy here who kind of takes over that parent role. And I think you will agree he does play that part very, very well. He's a very enjoyable character, and he made me laugh several times. The chemist also did, played by Michael McShane. The chemistry part sounded boring at first, but then once you meet him, it was really an enjoyable scene. Some of the special effects in this movie were really surprisingly good, too. This did have a $40 million budget. It almost broke even, so it didn't do well at the box office. I hate to admit it, I was one of those kids that were Macaulay Culkin'd out. I did not want to see this at all, and I disappointed my mother.
Well, how many movies did he have come out in the same year?
Ooh, yeah. The Pagemaster, that's 1. Getting Even with Dad, that's 2. I think the Nutcracker was around that. Well, obviously this was, but I thought the Nutcracker was around that time as well.
But that's at least 3 movies in 1 year.
It's
and
3 in
the
1
two
year.
of them was 2 months apart.
Yeah.
No. 1 month apart.
He was also on TV a lot. He was doing a lot of interviews. The Good Son wasn't good at all. I mean, he was in My Girl. That was years before, but still. I was sort of tired of the Macaulay Culkin era, I guess. It ran out on me. My mom was very disappointed that I did not want to see this because she wanted to see his mansion. So, sorry, Mom. So, I will show you the first clip.
You know, it took you 40 years to watch it.
Yeah, I know. It only took me 40 years to watch
Well,
it.
30, because it came out 30 years ago.
Yes.
But
yeah, it took me a long time, kind of like Mask of the Phantasm. So I will show you the first clip.
A new lease on life, thanks to billionaire businessman and philanthropist Richie Rich. And it looks like Richie Rich will be arriving here in
Hi. My dad couldn't make it, so he sent me. I'm Richie.
Hey, fellas, come on, let me through here.
Okay, so this is the press conference where his dad couldn't make it, and obviously Richie had to save the day. So being a young kid, he had to accept the very generous socket wrench gift. So now the lady that introduces himself, that is one of his, that is the her daughter becomes one of his friends later on in the movie, and I will show you how that happens. It's actually more complicated than you might think. So the next scene, I will actually show a clip of him trying to take a glance at what normal kids his age do, and we will see what happens.
This area is not secure, sir. Please return to the helicopter immediately.
But I just
I
want...
said return. Don't touch it. Master Richie, a very busy afternoon, so we must be on our way. It's my job to protect him. Very well, Mr. Ferguson. But grab him like that again, you will need protection.
And this is Cadbury kind of coming to Richie's rescue here. This is kind of a foreshadowing thing here with Mr. Ferguson, kind of.
also a douche.
Well, your opinion is well noted on Mr. Ferguson. I guess he could be kind of yeah. We'll say what you said there. That was probably really well stated.
Oh, it was. That's why I said it.
You will find out later on in the movie this was a foreshadow here. Like I said, this is hinting towards things to come. So Cadbury pretty much steps in and pretty much shows that, yeah, you cannot touch them. You can't put your hands on them, or there will be
Problems.
price to pay for that. So now we will actually meet Richie Rich's parents, and we will meet their old little landmark that you get to see. This did make me laugh when I first saw this movie, and I will show you that in just a second.
More? I said we needed a family portrait, Regina. But this?
Well, it was Raphaela's idea. She's the artist. I didn't want to stifle her creativity.
Oh, I'm all for the arts. But those, socket wrenches, son. I love a good socket wrench.
Dad, while I was there were these kids. They were playing baseball.
Baseball? Great!
Yeah, and so...
Excuse me, sir. It's a telephone call. The president.
What country?
This one, sir.
No.
A dinner party. Will you just tell me who and when, and we'll send out the invitations.
Not a party, Mom. Just something...
Informal.
So this is part of his mansion, and this is his lovely parents, of course, with Mount Richmore. I know, very, very creative. But it does make you laugh. So he's trying to get a play date here with a couple of his friends. He just wants to hang out. His mom is pretty much ready to serve the lobster and steak to his friends. And he just wants it to be very, very informal and just a simple hangout. And it just seems to be a problem. So he wants to do something else, but he has to visit the chemistry lab for his chemistry lessons. I know, it sounds really boring. It's not. Trust me, you're going to have to check this part out. It's actually very, very amusing. And I will show you that right now.
100 bees working overtime couldn't pollinate like this, baby. Behold, Robo Bee. Here, take it for a test flight. That looks like a dream, huh? Teams of scientists have worked day and night developing the latest in microcircuit technology. Millions and millions of dollars have been spent on this one bee alone.
Well, we're getting some rain again. So, moving on. So this is the chemistry lab here. This is one of the things that he shows them. He shows them several things like a bulletproof suit. A jacket. So this is a Robo Bee that he shows them. As you can see, this is pretty cool from the special effects. And
it cost millions of dollars for one bee that they just broke.
And it cost millions of dollars. And Cadbury decides to properly roll up a newspaper and smash it to pieces. And the fatty chemist decides to... This is probably the fastest he's ever ran. I'm actually surprised. I bet you if there was a couple of cheeseburgers, he could have caught up to him real fast. But I'm sure that Richie Rich outran him. So, okay, fine. That was a distasteful joke. So now we will get to meet John Larroquette's part. And we get to see how nasty he is.
I don't like him.
We have to show him. And we get to see how nasty he is actually right off the bat. So I will show that. And Alexa's going to have to turn off our lights.
37.5 miles of driveway. You park in the 5 feet with a puddle. I'm very sorry, sir. Oh, you're sorry. Well, in that case, find another job. Good evening, Mr. Vando. It's nice to see you, sir.
So here we go, right off the bat. Oh, and his name is Lawrence Van Doe.
Van Douche.
There you go. So he, God forbid, he steps in a puddle right off the bat, and I know it's too bad there's not an electrical wire there. So
yeah, that would have saved a whole lot of trouble for this movie.
So then he decides to fire his driver right afterwards, and as you can see, him and Mr. Ferguson are planning something. And I don't think it's a dinner party with the Clintons. So now I will show the next scene here with, this is what Richie Rich's mother thinks of the great Mr. Van Doe.
It's okay, Mom. I really don't like that guy.
That's all right, dear. Neither do I. But Father Moo is very good for you. Liver is rich in protein.
It's so tasty, too. Bye, Mom.
Laura.
Isn't this part interesting? Notice how they're using phones when they're sitting, I don't know, 5 feet away from each other.
Oh, that's way more than 5 feet. You see how long that table is?
So she could get up and she could go to her precious son.
But you see how long that table is? They ain't no 5 feet.
I did, but even in Batman, when he was a mile away from his date, he was still at least shouting across the room.
He
One of
didn't
them-
want her. She didn't want the guy across from her to hear what they were talking
Well, my
about.
point is, she could have got up and she could have sat next to her son, and they could have discussed it instead of talking with their huge brick cell phones. But this is going back to what people do today. It's very, very similar. So they had the right idea.
Yeah, we do the same thing and we're across from each other.
Yeah, but we don't. Yeah, but we don't talk on the phone when we're, just a couple feet apart. Well, we don't.
Me and my father do. I'll be out here, he'll be in there, and he'll call me because he wants to know where I'm at.
Thank you for making my point.
He's also blind though, so you can't really, help that.
So here's the. So I guess the mother doesn't really like Lawrence Van Doe either, and I thought the part with the chicken liver or whatever it was, liver, was kind of amusing because he feeds it to the dog. You can see the disgusted look on the dad's face, and he doesn't like it either. So the whole part there was kind of amusing. And the chemist comes running in again. Well, probably because he smelled the food. But he also has a neat little gadget here that I do want to show the audience. I'm also getting worried that I am showing way too much of this movie already. So I should probably be careful. So I will show you the next clip.
That's fantastic. Richie, come down here and try this. My dear, we have glasses to help us see better and hearing aids to help us hear better. Why shouldn't we have something to help us smell better?
We do, dear. It's called Chanel.
But the Smellmaster 9000 converts any smell within 20 yards into a digital audio signal. Here, son, try it.
Why? Petite Sirah, 1974. Roses, Hilversum, Demi Blue, fresh cut.
Cool. That's marvelous.
Foie de veau, calf's liver.
Better make the shades way out of whack. Can I be excused? Thank you.
Well, this is the wonderful smell master that the chemist comes into, and I was partially right on this part. He did run in because there is food. I know. Cow liver doesn't sound fun, but he finds the he finds the dessert table, and he is caught later on stuffing his face with donut holes, chocolate, of course. So, moving on to the smell master. It can pick up certain smells. I know they got the wine, and then of course he points it at the dog, and then he gets caught by feeding the dog cow's liver, which I would have done. But
How about doing it at the table?
yes. But there's something I did like out of this is, people get some ideas of billionaires being boring and not fun. I think this is kind of the opposite here. I think his dad is actually really, really cool. I thought the Mount Richmore thing was going to make him lame. It actually doesn't. He's actually
He didn't do it though.
He didn't, but
He came home to it.
Yeah, he did, but it's still really, really. His dad is actually really cool, and his mom is actually a very generous person. I'm not sure how accurate that is with billionaires, but they're making them cool. So it is kind of fun to see that, and John Larroquette just wants to blow everything up. So
Literally.
So now, yeah, literally, I didn't even, no pun intended. So now we will show the scene here where Richie is going to try to make friends, and let's see how that goes. Oh, with
Come, those children, I must protest the strongest terms.
Get very chill. I'll be fine.
What? No chopper?
My dad hardly ever lets me take the helicopter to school.
Oh, no chopper to go to school. So what are you doing here?
Well, I was wondering if maybe I could play with you guys.
Play. I don't think this is too good. Okay, alright.
Not! Come on, let me hit.
Forget it. You probably couldn't even hit a beach ball.
I can hit off of you.
I think you're so hot. Put your money where your mouth is.
You mean Ben?
Yeah. 5 says she put you away. 5? How about 10?
Okay, 10,000 it is.
No, not 10,000. $10.
Oh. Listen, I was wondering if maybe you guys can come over to my house. And
Pee-wee, give me the money.
I don't want your money.
I said take it. You don't belong here.
So this part here with the baseball scene, he doesn't really want the kids' money. He's trying to find a way to fit in, and he's also gotten hitting help from Reggie Jackson, who is a famous baseball player. He played with the Yankees, the Angels, and the Athletics. And he was helping Richie with his batting. So, of course, he's going to hit a home run off of these kids. So, obviously, Cadbury is very happy about it. So, but he sees how disappointed Richie is when he obviously fails at making friends. So, he has another idea. Instead of going to visit the royal family over the weekend, we will see how Cadbury weasels him out of going on ends up being a very horrible trip to the royal family in England. So I will show you that scene in just a second.
The Snowmaster for her birthday.
Why not, Regina? I think she'd get a kick out of it. Anything to take her mind off those children of hers. Security checks complete, sir. Tried to make friends with children yesterday. It wasn't a great success.
Poor dear.
Might I make a suggestion, madam?
Anything.
Well, why not let Master Richie stay here for the weekend? Young gentlemen are apt to find I could provide a busy schedule of distractions.
Cadbury, you're a genius. I'll go tell Richie.
All aboard.
So here's the scene here. Obviously, the father does like to have fun. He's getting the queen a smell master, and he decides to make a little joke. And I do like how open the mother is for Richie to not go to England, that she does see that something is bothering him. So instead of being snooty and making him go, she actually pulls him off the plane. And you will find out why this ends up being a great move. And you can tell from the security guy that he might be up to something. So the next...
Douchebag.
Yes. So this is Cadbury again, kind of interceding, and it makes his part incredibly likable. He's really trying to help. So we will find out what he's up to in just a second.
Wow, the whole hood.
I've seen bigger.
Are you kidding? The place probably's got its own zip code.
Excuse me, Master Richie. Sensing you were something to loose end, I'd arranged for a little entertainment.
I'm really not in the mood for a Vienna Boys choir today, Cadbury.
Sadly, the choir was unavailable, sir. But I did make other arrangements.
Leaving. Thanks, Cadbury. I owe you one.
Poulet, pomme de pinoise, and a bombe surprise.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
However, Master Richie was of the opinion that his young guests deserve a break today.
You have your own McDonald's? No way!
Not bad.
So this is the mansion here. We didn't really want to give all of it away, so we just decided to show probably the most interesting lunch menu for him. Yes, he has his own McDonald's. This is Roger Ebert's favorite part of the movie. He would love to have this in his house. And of course, look who's grabbing a whole bunch of cheeseburgers. Mr. Chemist is right back at it. And he says that he just wants to try the secret sauce. No, he just wants to eat a bunch of hamburgers, probably 50 of them and 50 fries. So, I am going to show you the whole entire mansion because this is a movie I would like to actually see you somehow stream this movie or rent it, and I'm getting an evil stare again because I made another joke towards the very funny chemist. I didn't say anything about his waistline. How did he get out of those doors? Okay, so after the chemist was busy getting stuck,
What's that? Oh.
I'm gonna get. Hey, look at this! What a coincidence! McDonald's Moon Man just got thrown at me. I'll put him here. It's just very fitting for that scene to have a McDonald's character get thrown at me. Okay, so they do show other stuff, but like I said, I would rather not get a Moon Man thrown at me. So they do show other things. He does have his own basketball court. He's got this slingshot thing too, where the kids go flying. It's pretty cool.
You forgot the amusement park.
Oh yes, and then the amusement park as well. So yes, it is just a.
And you forgot to mention the father locator.
Oh yes, the father. Well, I was going to get into that when things go down in Bermuda. So yes, there is a father locator as well, kind of like what we have on our phones now. And something I do want to add, you know what, I'll save it for the end of the review. So I will show what happens to the parents. They are in a plane right now. And this part really is a bomb. So I'm going to show you that scene right now.
My memory serves me right. Trititotoluene is the proper name for
TNT!
Good God, Regina, it's a bomb.
Get rid of it!
So I want that.
So, yes. So there was a nice little surprise for them on the plane. Let's just say that it kind of blew up in their face a little bit. So
No, blew up at the back of the plane.
It did. So, yes, this plane does go down. Now, remember, this is a kid's movie, so we will get to the parents in a minute. So, John Larroquette thinks that Richie was also on this plane. So, he thinks that he's automatically the chairman. And let's just say that he makes some cuts to the good working people. So, Richie decides to step in and kind of ruin his plans a little bit. So, I will show you that, and some of the scenes here is just typical John Larroquette at his best. And I get to show you that in just a second.
Sir. Mr. Richard Rich Jr. to see you.
Mr. John, I need to have those rooms done by 3 o'clock this afternoon. Richard, please, I realize we all love your mother and father.
My parents are alive.
And pray nightly that they are. Richie, I just want to let you know that we're doing everything we can to coordinate the search. Please, have a seat.
Well, until my parents come back, I've taken a
Sabbatical, sir.
sabbatical from school. You know, so I can be here and run things.
Run things. Richie, the job of senior officer of a multi.
I don't think so. By the way, Cadbury, how much stock do I own?
Until your parents are found, sir. As the sole heir, you own 51% of the voting stock.
Yes, but you are not of legal age to exercise your voting rights.
But I am, sir. And under the terms of the rich estate, I stand in loco parentis, guardian ad litem to Master Richie. And accordingly, I give him full proxy power and authority
By the way, United Tool, Steve's open.
So this is a very similar situation. I don't know if you remember the movie Stripes, but John Larroquette plays a very similar part from that to this. Just look at how he's kind of having a play date with that female on the bike. So Richie comes in and pretty much tells him what is what, that he is going to run the company, not him. So yes, Lawrence Van Doe is not real happy at this point. So he had champagne with himself to toast himself, the new chairman. I don't think that happened. He probably shouldn't have done that. So we will find out what happens to Richie's parents in just a second.
Honey, we're out of Perrier, caviar's gone, and there's no more Melba toast. The only thing we've got left is a bottle of Dom.
And this little packet of Bubblicious, Richie's favorite. Oh, he's only 12 years old, Richard. He's just a boy.
Now, Regina, I'm sure whatever happens, he's going to be just fine.
So this is his parents here on this little inflatable boat. So his parents are alive.
Raft,
inflatable boat, flotation device.
it's called a raft.
All right, well, they are on a rescue raft, and they are out of Perrier, caviar, and some other type of rich food. So, but they are alive. So there's a lot that goes on after the scene here, but I am not going to show any of that because this is a movie you're going to have to check out for yourself. So I am so sorry. So
Are you?
yes, you're going to find out that Lawrence Van Doe really has no moral principles. So I'm going to show one more clip. We get to see a funny scene here coming up. I almost gave it away. So I will show you that. They've got some little Home Alone contraptions here. And I will show you one of those right now.
And when you guys want to turn back?
Fire.
You miss. Reload, reload.
Somebody's throwing.
Yes.
Come back, Nash. Say again.
Herbert, you're on your own. Henry, look. It's still working. Wait a minute. This isn't right. This is Dad's right here.
Welcome home, Richard. You were getting quicker than I thought.
Mom, Dad.
So this is the last clip here. The one thing I did forget to mention was the director here. This was, I forgot his first name. It's something...
Don?
Petrie.
I think it's that on the beginning.
Yeah, it is. Yes, Donald Petrie. He also directed Grumpy Old Men. He also did an episode of Chicago PD, which I found kind of interesting.
Did he do Land Before Time with Petrie?
No, he did not. I wouldn't put it past him. His creativity really is not bad. Because something I did want to bring up with this review is that he did run wild with this. I mean, I understand that some of the parts may have been far-fetched with the mansion, but his imagination did run wild. It was creative. Unlike the Field of Dreams, having a dream field full of ghosts, and the director of that movie, in my opinion, dropped the ball. He had a huge amount of imagination that could have went into that, and he did nothing with it. So with this movie, yes, this is what you do. You run wild. You get creative. Now, before I give my review, I will send you to the two Stooges, and we will see what they thought of this movie.
Bobs, I was not looking forward to the new Macaulay Culkin movie, but the fact is, Richie Rich is a comedy with a lot of warmth and charm and high energy, one that has an edge and yet has a gentle spirit. The movie stars Culkin as the richest kid in the world, and there's even a mad scientist who lives right in the house with him. It's probably Culkin's last movie playing a little boy. He's going through some changes and discusses it with his dad, played by Edward Herrmann.
Hi, Dad.
When he's growing up, Macaulay takes a special interest in his new aerobics instructor, played by Claudia Schiffer. Rich kids, Richie has few friends, but he makes some new ones and invites them back to the mansion. Master Richie's parents are feared lost at sea, and he fights evil John Larroquette for control of the company.
Business hours go, well, just way past your... Okay?
I don't think so.
What I liked the most about Richie Rich was the way the director, Donald Petrie, was able to combine a fresh story with a sweet tone. I also liked Richie's adult friends, the valet and the inventor, and I liked the movie's imaginative rich kids' toys, including the catapult in which his playmates find out what it's like to be shot out of a cannon. This was a surprisingly entertaining film.
Well, we differ again. I wasn't entertained by any of the kids' toys, and I would have liked to have seen, for example, with
This
the
guy's a
Claudia
moron.
Schiffer scene, some writing with it. In other words, she just pops in and she is gone.
It's a one-line gag. Didn't you like the toy of the smell thing that could sniff out stuff? Wasn't that
The
terrific?
catapult, as I looked at that, I kept noticing when the stunt people were in the shot. It was pretty obvious. So I didn't think the catapult was
Well,
very
it's
exciting.
not going to be news to anybody. There's stunt people there, but...
It can be either done well,
Okay.
just like we were talking about before. It can either be done well or not so well. The other thing is, I didn't think this Larroquette was that good of a villain, and I think that's what really would have energized the story. I thought it was played at a very light level, and I didn't think it was very good.
Well, I think people will miss a real good time if they take your advice. Coming up next, Red Hot director...
So yes, I am showing the two clowns, and as much as I disagree with Roger Ebert most of the time, this time I actually agree with him. The little Pillsbury Doughman man is right this time. But of course he showed the part with the McDonald's. That's probably because he wants one in his own house. But then when he turned it over to Gene Siskel,
He's a moron.
Gene Siskel has no sense of humor whatsoever.
He's a moron.
Anything. He didn't even like the toys. He didn't like the catapults or anything. So I just figured I would show you what these clowns I used to watch these people growing up. I guess I'll be nice. Captain Baldy and the Fat Idiot is what I used to call them. So I just wanted to show you that. So I honestly did think this movie was well written. I think it was well casted. I thought John Larroquette was a good villain. I thought that Chelsea Ross was also a good villain, the security guy that did have something.
He's a douche.
Okay, yes, but he played the part well. So let's put it that way.
Still a douche.
And I liked Cadbury. And this was a PG rating, so this was a family movie. I still recommend it for families now. In my opinion, this movie does still hold up. And if I had to grade this, I would probably give it a B or even a B+. I might go as far as that. I did find it enjoyable. The only part I really didn't like was the ending was a little bit shoddy in my opinion. So, but overall, I actually strongly recommend seeing this. This movie is definitely worth a chance, and it's even worth buying if you want to go on eBay or a local flea market or garage sale to pick it up. I don't know if it's on a streaming service. I would have to guess maybe not. I at least haven't seen it. So, but again, this is one to definitely check out. So, comment below and subscribe, and I will see you next time.